Welcome to Aethercast, the Kharadron Overlords channel and podcast, where today we're finishing off from last week's show looking at the battle plans. Got 5 left to go through. Went through the other 7 last week. Plus, we've got some army lists to talk about, which I know quite a few people are excited to see. So, that should be fun. Joining me for this week's show, we have my ever faithful Avatar of Grombrindle, Duard and Max Bowman.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Yourself?
A bit tired. Just had a one-day tournament abroad in Austria. That was fun. Came back like 2 hours ago. But that was AOS 2. So excited to talk about AOS 3 now.
Cool. And joining us potentially at some point, Alexander Krohn, if he wakes up. Or he's already awake. Who knows? Who knows what will happen there. A couple of people in the chat. Hi, Asmund. Hi, Sean. Thanks for joining us. And anyone else that's watching that hasn't said hi in the chat, say hi in the chat. News. Any news?
There was a tournament today, but it's AOS 2, so it's not too relevant.
Is it safe to say you were obliterated?
It's safe to say I never got beyond round 3 in all 3 my games, so that was great for a late scoring army as Kharadron. So no surprise, I went 1 and 2. I won my match against 45 Blight Kings, so that was good for me. It was a success, not an easy matchup, but I lost against Stinky Fish Elves and new Soul Blight, first time playing Soul Blight. And Blood Knights are good. They can punch hard. They can punch hard, and stuff doesn't die easily if it has a 6-up or a 5-up, like Funeral Pain or on Deathless roll.
Yeah. Well,
but that was great. Great people, great fun. Gave out some Aethercast dice. Delivered the last EU order by hand to a gentleman from Austria. So he was there as well. So it was easy. I've also received feedback. Some people have already received Aethercast dice in Europe. Asmund, if you have received yours in Norway, let me know. And I think everything's Aethercast dice rolled good and bad. So I don't know. Maybe I'll ask for my money back. The priority rolls didn't work, so I didn't win a single prize.
You need the purple dice for priority rolls and the gold or silver dice for your normal rolls. That's how.
That's why, because the gold ones are good. The gold ones, they do a lot of 6s. The silver ones are okay. Purple ones I didn't use, so maybe that's the reason. Maybe I need to use
purple,
that one.
like the purple ones, I figure are like the special ones. You keep tracking command points and your turn score and that sort of thing, or maybe like wound counters or whatever. And Asmund said he hasn't had his yet, so.
Oh, Asmund, check your letterbox.
Yeah. UK dice arrived yesterday after when I got home from work. They were waiting for me, which is cool. So I packed them all up into envelopes, take them to the post office on Monday morning. Cool. So they'll be sent out to everyone. Awesome. There is one person that contacted me because I had the wrong tracking number for the this is a US order. I'm just getting the wrong tracking number. Bit concerned because that said it was delivered before they messaged me.
Okay.
So, they wouldn't have asked for the tracking. The tracking number's wrong if they had the dice. That doesn't make any sense. So I've messaged them. So hopefully they'll reply. You know who you are. Hopefully you have your dice and you just hadn't checked mailbox or something. Because in America, don't they have them like at the end of the driveway or something? I don't know.
At least that's the image we get from television.
The Simpsons and Forrest Gump and stuff. I don't know. Anything else? Yeah. I mean, everything. All TV's made in America, isn't it? So, pretty much. Cool. Well, that's the news. Let's jump into some battle plans because I got a feeling mostly people want to talk about lists.
Okay. I mean, we have 5 more to cover, and we were pretty fast last time. These are pretty good.
Quick disclaimer, obviously if you're watching live, carry on watching live, but if you're watching in the future, then go back and watch part 1, because we talked about the grand strategies and the battle tactics and scoring and that sort of thing, and the other 7 battle plans. So we might reference some things that we talked about last week. So yeah, if you are watching tomorrow or whenever, then go back and watch that one first. But stick around if you like. Cool. Let's jump into the Vice. Me and Max know this one well because we played it against each other.
Yes, we did.
Yes, and I was obliterated.
I was about to say.
Yes.
Fun. It's a weird mechanic. Horrible if you use those big, honest wargamer plastic objective markers because you need to pick them up and move them. You have 4 of them that you need to move. But if you have smaller ones, that's okay. That's useful. It's I don't know. It's a weird one. This one.
Even on TTS, moving the objectives around is a bit awkward.
Yeah, if you called Lee and you just stop clicking stuff and flip the table like 5 times, it's hard.
You took away the rulers, which is how you knew where to put them.
I deleted the lines, but then I drew new lines for you. But that's a story first. Lee likes to click stuff and press like Control
Z.
Control Z. So great fun.
I use Adobe products a lot, and so therefore I just have my fingers on Control Z the whole time, just as reflex, and then that's not good for TTS.
Rewind, and we go back. Well, this one works in a fun way. So you have first turn, you have the objectives in the corners, and you deploy sideways. So maybe not the most fancied one for tournaments where all the tables are adjacent to each other, because it's like a bit hard to play sideways that way. And they start in the corners. So there's only like a quarter of a 6-inch circle that you can actually put models in. It makes it quite easy to control the objective with a single model or 2, because you just block out and no one can get on them. Then turn 2 and 3, they move into these 4 positions in the quarters, and they stay there for 2 turns. And then 3 of them disappear and 1 moves into the middle. I let the viewers decide which one it is that moves into the middle. It's a mystery. It's not solved. And it stays there for round 4 and 5. So basically, the way this is scored is there's 1 point for each objective. There's a second point if you have 2 or more. And there's another point if you have more objectives or you control more objectives than your opponent. So this is a classic new AOS 3 scoring.
I want to clarify, it's not 1 point for each objective, it's 1 point if you have at least 1.
Yes, correct, thank you.
It's like the normal scoring with the new...
Then 2 points for battle tactics. So again, that's like 2/3 of the points you can get from objectives is just a battle tactic, so important. And then at the end of the game, 3 points for your grand strategy that you chose on your list. So I believe after we played this, it is, if you control the center, like the last turns, you always, you control 1 and you control more than your opponent, so you're always getting 2 points. But if you want to win this game through objective playing, then you need at some point, round 2 or 3, get one of your opponent to objectives, like when they're still in the quarters. Because if you can't, and everyone just stays on theirs, you both score your 2 objectives for 3 turns, and then it's whoever is in the middle. And if you have,
or who's getting their battle tactics and their grand strategy.
So it's just this benefits and this suits let's say castle builds, as I was playing a castle build with a little angry dwarf running about called Gotrek, and in the middle just secure.
Because the last 2 turns, where the fight has to be. So you can literally just run Gotrek towards the center.
You can run your castle like basically your deployment or your area of control is is a triangle. Exactly.
Yeah.
For the 3 turns, 4 turns, 5 turns. So you can just set up in there, and everyone who wants to get on your objectives is somewhere within 9 of a shooting unit sitting in the middle. Just get shot. We had this example. You were playing Celestant Prime. He came down from the skies round 2 or 3. I think round 2 maybe.
2.
And like he charged and he was left on 1 wound because I shot him with like 9 Iron Drakes. Because there was terrain.
You could have shot with more.
I could have shot him more if I had more in line of sight. Yeah, and so that's it's I don't know. It's a castable. You sit in there and you shoot. Does this apply to Kharadron especially? Yeah, we can definitely play that style. I don't know if we have the anvil to put around the shooting units. Because Arcanauts, they're not the anvil you're looking for. So it might be a bit of discussion for later, also for lists. But this is an interesting battle plan. It suits some armies more than others, I'd say.
I think there's a good advantage for KO here with the position of where the objectives are for turn 1. Means that you can, if you've got 2 ships, we like putting ships in corners.
Yeah.
And they're not out of position for later, for next turn or whatever, because you can fly high. Whereas for other factions, having to put something that far back in a corner just to score their objectives at the beginning of the game is a little bit of a pain potentially.
Although deploying in those corners or something near there comes almost naturally because you screen out your area. Because by putting units there, you basically screen out your backfield. Yeah. So you're doing 2 things that usually, you had like your 3 engine riggers sitting in the back somewhere screening. Well, now they're also sitting on an objective.
Yeah, it's great if you're against a teleporting army. If you're against an army that can't teleport, like having to put stuff that far back in that corner is a bit annoying.
If they're slow, they might be. Well, then they move. Basically, your units can move, or your screens, or your whatever you want to call them, little objective babysitters. They move with the objective. So turn 1, they're in a corner. Then they move towards the middle, and then they create like this triangle that we showed before.
There's some planning ahead you need to do as well, because you can't just sit back on your 2 objectives that you start with and go, okay, well I'll sit here and not put anything over here because he just invites your opponent to come forwards and.
Yeah, if you lose those, that could be like if you lose 1 or 2 of your objectives, like I'm calling them your objective, the ones that start in your corners, throughout the first 3 turns, that might decide the game. But
I think
I don't know. It's a very static game this way.
This reminds me a bit of Knife to the Heart in the fact that there's it's like a game of chicken. Like it's who goes to the middle first, and is that bad for you if you go before them? Because if you go forwards into the middle and they're not in counter charge range, then it's fine. But if you go forward to the middle and then they can just obliterate whatever you put in the middle, then it's a problem.
It might be important to note on this battle plan. There's only primary objectives, so none of these can be removed. Yeah. After or in round 3, so they all stay and then they just become 1. I don't know. When everything points towards the middle, usually that's not good for KO because we don't want to play in what focal points used to be like in the center, in the middle. We want to play on the outskirts, jumping around, shooting stuff, grabbing objectives. So here KO need to play the early rounds, I'd say, first 3 rounds. But then there's still a lot of stuff around that you need to shoot off the objectives first, so maybe not as easy to grab them. So definitely something to consider. I'd be interested to see if tournaments, like what battle plans they use in general, if this is one they choose or not choose often, because of the game styles it creates. If you have an Archaon and you send him into the middle, what are you going to do?
Fight Gotrek. who will also be in the middle.
You send your Gotrek you send your Gotrek in the middle to meet your opponent's Gotrek.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But
it's tough.
There's one interesting thing about this, which is because of the way things move, it's not like if your opponent goes forwards, then they sacrifice their rear objectives and then leave space for you to go behind. They do leave space for you to go behind, but there's nothing for you to go behind too if they time it right. So this one I think this is all about timing, this one. When to go to the middle, when to push forward, when to...
Think ahead, when to go to the middle, and when to seize if you have an opportunity to seize one of your opponent's objectives and their territories, do it, because that point might bring you to extra 3 points in the end, because you score more than 2, you score more than your opponent, and he's not scoring it, so there's a difference there. Might be important.
Okay, so here's something I thought about doing in our game, Max. I didn't mention to you at the time. I thought, because I had priority, so I could have chosen to take first turn, and I think I could have gone and took one of your corner objectives, which is Celestant Prime, if I brought them down turn 1, because all you had was Aether Wings. Now, I was like, I don't really want to bring them down turn 1, and it would have only been worth like 1 point to me.
Yeah.
And there's this weird thing, because obviously like he wouldn't get it and then get to keep it, because it would move away from him for turn 2 and 3. But then it's also like if it moves away from him, it's like you've got no incentive to go and attack him, because you're then moving off your objective.
Yep.
So I don't know. Turn 1 is like one of those weird ones where like KO could go and pinch those objectives, but I'm not sure whether you want to on turn 1.
Depends with what. How much are you sacrificing? A gun holder? Okay.
Yeah.
More than that, I'm not sure. Plus, also one thing to note, maybe there's a battle tactic called Conquer that we talked about last week, where you need to pick one of your opponent's objectives and control that one. Obviously, this is something you want to do early game, because when it is just one in the middle left, it might be very hard to get.
Okay, and just generally speaking about KO, because there's another one that's like take 2 objectives in this battle plan, almost impossible to do, I think.
Take 2 objectives that are not in your territory. I think that's the one, or how it's worded. It is, unless your opponent is like blatantly leaving stuff open. Yeah, it's very hard to score.
Which means actually, like the battle tactics for KO on this mission, like
it's called aggressive expansion. This one, yeah.
Because without monsters, without priests, without wizards, that sort of knocks out 3. You knock out that one, and then you're down to 4 out of 8 already. So you do really want to be trying to get objectives early on, I think, with KO on this one. Yes,
definitely. But it's tough to do.
Yeah. Okay, let's... what final thoughts? Do we think this is a dodgy one for KO? Or...
I think it's a tougher one. Because the longer you wait, the slimmer your chances are to win.
Yeah.
Unless you have, like, you go full in 2 Ironclads, and I don't know what, to the middle and just...
full on Alpha Strike and... So follow an Alpha Strike with a load of stuff sitting in the middle, and then... Okay.
Might be tough.
Okay. Next one, Tooth and Nail. So Tooth and Nail has the really weird deployment area that we talked about.
Oh yeah, this is a nightmare to set up.
So, to be fair, if you have KO's boards, they're cardboard, not KO's boards, GW's boards. Sorry, getting my acronyms mixed up there. GW's cardboard boards, and then you have, the 12-inch, LP style plastic objective markers. Then it's a little bit easier to set up. But it's a weird one. Actually, unlike the one before, you won't have an objective here. So you won't have an objective to measure 3 inches away for here. You just have to measure 9 inches from the centre. But this one, I don't mind so much, because the 4 objectives in corners is a bit like Total Conquest from AOS 2 and the previous UHP. And
Yep.
I've always found like 4 corners of the board very easy for KO to just pick a corner and go, right, I'm going to go over there and overwhelm.
Although now everything's closer together.
Yes, there's 10.8 inches apart. Closest, realistically, you're like 15 inches apart in most cases.
No, I also mean between the objectives. It used to be middle to middle, 24 or like 12 inches apart. And now I believe how much is it? These are 15 wide.
It's 22 from there to there, so minus 12, so 10 inches from here to here.
Yeah, and the sideways?
That's 30 inches minus 12, so 18.
18. So yeah, it's less than it used to be. But still an easier one for KO. Like this layout feature suits us better.
Okay. Good news, everyone. Alexander Krohn is awake. Hi, Krohn.
Yay! Hello.
Good
morning, everyone.
Hi, Alex.
You've missed one battle plan, Krohn, which was the Vice. Have you played the Vice yet?
I have not, but I've read that, and it looks very complex.
Well, you can watch the show back, and we'll explain it to you.
Okay.
The one thing we haven't mentioned about this one yet is no reserves. It's fun because stuff inside the boat doesn't count as being in reserve.
So total commitment was the same, yeah.
There's an additional rule though that total commitment didn't have, which is summon units can't shoot or charge on the turn that they are summoned or brought onto the table.
It's very bad for chaos.
Yeah.
Because you can't just summon stuff and then
charge stuff in, yeah.
I mean, it's fine for some stuff because obviously a lot of stuff that you would first think of this for is actually more likely to be stuff that's in reserve, which can't be in reserve. So,
I mean, this is also for Stormcast. Like half the army is in reserve or Nighthorn.
Yeah, so they can't be in reserve.
They can't be. They're being yeah.
Vampires, death are just ghouls would have a really bad time with not being able to summon units.
Well, they can summon, but the summon unit can't charge or shoot.
Yeah.
They can still summon. And some Seraphim builds who have stuff in reserve. Yeah. Interesting.
So I think that makes it better for KO, this one. Because we just teleport all over. And then the thing that would compete with us is other stuff that can teleport or stuff that can summon and just go summon.
How much stuff you can summon that can shoot? Only Zinch stuff can shoot, can it? There's not much that you can summon that can actually shoot you. Summon? No. Summon? Maybe some Seraphim stuff like.
Salamanders.
You can summon salamanders, but that's you summon one now. And I think some like pinks and blues they can shoot. Not sure if you can summon. Can you summon flamers properly? But you need more points.
More points.
So
you wouldn't do it.
Okay. I'm fine with that. I don't mind. I don't play those armies.
What I like about this one is if you compare it to Total Conquest, which is almost what it is, isn't it? Total Conquest used to have this thing where, because you had a rectangle deployment, one of the objectives was closer than the other one.
Yes, you're both one.
It's not the case anymore. So it doesn't default to this sort of washing machine thing where it kind of just goes from diagonal to straight on. It can go either way. And so there's something players need to do to try and force it. Like if you want to play long ways, you need to try and force it to go that way. If you want to try and play quick ways, you need to try and force it that way.
True.
Rather than just sort of defaulting to it.
It's interesting. But the thing here is there's this... Because there's no reserve and no summoning, So there's no deep striking per se, except teleporting, which not many armies can do out of KO. So the backfield, often people might just the one in the one in the down below corner or up below, up left corner or down right corner. They say, yeah, this is my home objective. I'll keep this and let's move on to get one of the others.
Mhm.
Because not much can threaten those objectives except KO, I think. What can teleport? Okay, Seraphon can teleport about. Zinj, they have one unit they can teleport. But other than that, Sylvaneth with trees.
Yeah, maybe you could do stuff with the bridge, but I mean it's 18 inches.
It's 18. Well, it's like you're coming from the front. You're not getting beyond my army or my front line.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. What is not so good for KO is because now it's a much wider deployment. You need to screen out more. You cannot just hide in your little corner because you're like in your little box, but you're actually you have a bigger area you need to check and control. But you can actually get people like walking onto objectives now.
Yeah. From the chat, good example as well as Skaven. You guarantee if they got this deployment zone, they put a warp hole down there. So,
although that's not what I would do as a Skaven player.
You put one.
You put one in your deployment. If you're red, exactly. You put them in the white corners and one in your own, so you can threaten both sides and enter. You need an entry to your hole.
Yeah, I mean, because what they had to put them there. If I was me, I would put them here, because then you can from that one you can threaten both of these.
Yeah, but if you put them in the opponent's deployment zone, they can just put stuff on it, and you're not using that the whole game.
Then your opponent deploys a unit basically on top of the wall, on top of your hole, the rat hole, and then it's useless.
That's useless, and because you deployed on it, you're not suffering any mortals. Nothing's happening to you. But if you put it in the white areas, your opponent needs to decide: do I go block the hole, or do I get the objective?
Yeah. Okay, that's true.
I see. I should be a Skaven player. I'm too sneaky for this.
I mean, look, we're already using half their stuff, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we used to. I used to play a lot against Skaven when I started. A lot against them. Cool. The setup for deployment areas is gonna be time consuming.
I mean,
we could sell some Aethercast cutouts that people can lay down.
This is weird shape like this.
Yeah.
So this is why I actually went out and got the official cardboard mat, because it's got all the crease lines around where these objectives and where the deployment zone should be.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have like quarter circles drawn like this?
It doesn't have quarter circles drawn like that.
Well, you can get a pencil and just do that.
We've got what do we call it? The 6-inch objective template things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also use those. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think this mission, considering how punishing it is to like half the roster, I don't think this mission is going to be seen much in tournaments.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same as Total Commitment. You didn't see that often.
Yeah, it's weird because Total Conquest you did see a lot though.
Mm-hmm. Which was great.
Yeah, but
it's like Total Conquest and Total Commitment. The way they solved the fact that they got confused by being TC, like they were both like Total C something, is we just have one. That's the same. Just merged them into one. That's what they did.
Yeah, but for KO, I'd say this is a good one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you get this in a battle pack, yeah, great.
You're laughing.
Yeah.
Well, you're not laughing, but I'm just wondering.
You are laughing. While your opponent's like working this out, you just go.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm over here.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like somehow, like more or less here, like 2 sticks. Yeah. I'm fine. Okay. I don't mind where exactly the border is. I'm just sitting back here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Let's move on then. Power in numbers.
Oh dear.
There's a lot of stuff going on here. This is it's basically Scorched Earth, but with less objectives, isn't it? Pretty much.
Is this one where you can
Did we
burn
jump
objectives? Hang on.
You can, yes. So, first of all, standard deployment, 22 inches apart. 6 objectives.
This.
Didn't we have one that was very similar last time?
Possibly.
Yes, so there's a Scorched Earth equivalent, and this is the Better Part of Valor equivalent, where you burn your opponents and your own objectives, and it depends how long you hold them. That you can kind of keep hold of them, and the longer you keep hold of them and risk it, the more points you get at the end of it.
Okay, so you can't burn round 1, which is good, because that was always stupid in AOS 1, when you could just run forwards, burn all the objectives on the table, like, I've won the game! So, no one likes that. So you can burn from the second round onwards. You get 1 VP if you gain control of it that turn. 2 VP if you control it at the end of the turn before and haven't lost it since. 4 VP if you controlled it at the end of the turn before last. Yep. And haven't lost control of it. And then 8 VP, so it's doubling each time. So, if you can burn them on the last round, you can score a lot. And then, of course, 2 VP for battle tactics, 3 for grand strategies. I think the key thing about this that I like is they got rid of that thing about leaders.
Yeah. Did we talk about Feral Foray Battleplan last time?
We did. That was our bonus one for Phil.
That was very similar, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that one is you can go over and burn your opponent's objectives. The big one here is, in order to get any points, you have to burn your own. You don't get any points unless you burn objectives.
Who keeps it longer and then burns it last round to get all the points. This one is just we're gonna sit here and wait, and I'm not gonna move because I'm gonna keep my objectives, and you're not gonna move. So we're just gonna stare at each other for 4 rounds, and then I might try to get one of yours and burn everything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. The danger is if you get yours taken, then all those points you were building up, you lose. So.
Oh, you're not taking objectives from 40 Hearthguard Berserkers. That's when I last played this. I was just sitting on my.
40 Hearthguard Berserkers will, because also a unit can only control 1 objective now, rather than
now.
more.
Yes. But
So
before, I just sat there and then. Okay.
That's really important for these sorts of missions. So realistically, KO can't sit and hold 3 objectives. We've got to go out and take
not very well.
With a lot of Arcanauts, maybe, but
this is pick a flank, hit it hard, don't burn it, or maybe burn it if you think they can take it back. Because even as soon as you take one of your opponents, they're on the back foot. Because you can then sit holding your 3. They've got to come and get one of yours.
Yeah, but once you burn it, then then you have 2, and I say, okay, I'm going to yours. I'm gonna get yours.
Yeah.
Well, you can use a kind of a bait, like, okay, my Ironclads in the one I just burnt. You come to me, punish me, or are you going towards my objectives? Like, you need to make a decision.
Unless you have 3 squads of 90 Arcanauts, or 3 squads of 30 Arcanauts, you're not really holding this stuff.
That's not going to happen. I own 20, and I bought another pack of 10 for Battleline. I'm not going to have 90 Arcanauts.
Well, that reminds me, Timo, who is watching us in chat, was asking in the WhatsApp group about it, how many Arcanauts do you need? And that was straight away, the only one that answered was me, 70. That's how many you need. He's like, are you just trying to make yourself feel better for how many you own? How many you need? I was like, well, I did write a list with 70 in, but you could have just replaced 50 with Gotrek if you wanted.
No, the answer used to be 120. That's how many. That's
back in the days. 80 at least.
Okay, realistically, how many do you think we need to own? 30? 40
I think
maybe?
now because
40,
balloons are not as good anymore, and so you're not maybe taking as many as Battleline. You might want to have 30 in your collection just to fulfill that free Battleline slots.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't see myself using any more than 30 ever. Probably 30.
There's some weird, Mhornar run and shoot build with maybe more, but I don't know.
Okay.
They're not shooting that good. No rend.
No. They're decent tough. They're okay. They're tough.
That's the thing. They're not
400
tough anymore
points.
because of the triumphs. They used to be tough. They tanked a lot today in my tournament, but no.
400 points. I feel like that probably one of the more tougher options at 100 points.
Oh, my
so
sweet
cheap.
child. Oh, my sweet child.
What else
Have you
can
heard?
you get? What else can you get
heard
for
of our
100 points?
Lord and Savior for 105 points? You can get free up save Iron Breakers, which you can easily make 2+ save now.
Okay, so there is a thing in this objective which has been brought up in the chat that Battleline have a bonus, and I don't think I have this on the slide, and I have not got my GHP in front of me because
I have it here, and I will investigate. If there are any Battleline units within 6 inches of an objective, then only models from Battleline units can contest that objective. Ooh, so like a single Arcanaut can tank this against Archaon?
Archaon.
You know what that means? That A for gold, making yourself battle shock immune is really good in this.
Yes.
Keep those Arcanauts alive.
If one of the 10 Arcanauts survives Archaon's charge, yes.
Well, it might not be Archaon. It might be something less killing.
Yeah, Morathi, or that is true. Thank you for the tip. I will tell you. I'll be honest. This is the first time I'm looking at some of these because I've not took too much time because I rely on Lee to prepare all the infographics that you see here.
Yeah. There's a lot written on that right-hand side of the screen that I can fill that in.
So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Battleline. So yeah, maybe bring.
See, this is like
the thing is
one
with
in AOS 2 where only Battleline could score, and there's like, oh, you kind of want to have 4 Battleline units in every list. You don't need them to score now, it's just say trump. So it's like, because if you go and you outnumber on your opponent's objective, but you haven't got any Battleline models there, then it doesn't matter if they've got at least one.
Interestingly, this extra rule says if there are any Battleline units within 6, it doesn't say the Battleline needs to control it. So you could string out Arcanauts across 2, could you?
But then doesn't it go on to say that only Battleline units count towards controlling it?
If there are any Battleline, then only models from Battleline units can contest.
Yes.
Okay.
So they can't contest. So them being in it would trigger that only Battleline units can contest. But then they would still have to choose which unit they're contesting for. But then the ironic thing is they could say...
but this could be so bad.
Here's the thing you could have. They could string out a Battleline unit like this. You could put a unit here, and then they could choose like this Battleline unit against this non-Battleline unit would force it to be only Battleline units, and then they would say, oh, but actually this Battleline unit is controlling for this one, but this unit still doesn't count.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
I can
if you have Arcanauts, there's like one Arcanaut surviving, so your 10 funders are not controlling the objective because there's one stupid Arcanaut who's taking all the glory for himself to defend the thing against like 3 other people, and he loses it.
Yeah.
So
I think this is the one where if I knew this was in a pack, I would maybe think about my Battleline choices a bit more.
Yeah.
Question. What if I have Battleline inside the boat? They cannot contest from inside the boat. We know that. But they're still forcing your opponent that only their Battleline can contest. So it's like I have a boat, with 10 Arcanauts inside, whatever you bring, you're not contesting this objective. Unless, obviously, you kill.
Okay, so there's an important thing here, which is there's a general important thing anyway, with the fact that you can most objectives are on the border now, so you can get onto your opponent's objectives. They can't stop you even from turn one, but you gain control at the start of the battle round now. So even if turn one you put a ship here and said, right, now it's only battle line units, because I've got battle line units within 6, they would still already have had control of it, and then it's still just, you're not going to gain control because your battle line units inside the ship and don't count.
Okay. So, no, I meant for my home objectives.
Oh, so for your home objectives?
I'm sitting there with an Ironclad and there's 10 Arcanauts inside.
Yeah, it would mean that...
Someone comes up with their, I don't know what,
Archeon.
Who knows?
Archeon, he would have to kill the ship.
Well, no, Archeon is... How many models is Archeon? 5? He counts as 5 as a monster? Yeah. So, yeah, but still, you could stop him and say, no, they're because only battle line. You're not battle line, so it's still mine. With
First
my
of
single
all,
or my two.
Why have you got an Ironclad? Why have you got Arcanauts in an Ironclad? That's only Thunderers going Ironclads.
So that when you fly high in Zilfin, then you get them out, and then they're screened so that when your opponent charges, they can't just tag it with chaff, so that you can't unleash Hell against Hammer. That's why.
Okay.
Maybe that might come up in a list at the end of the show.
Okay.
So this mission, there would be some sneaky tactics with Zilfin and Urbaz?
Yes.
Fly high your battle. Fly your battle. Fly your battle line.
What you should just use the once per game 18-inch move in your and just take them
all of your little gun haulers forward onto any objective that doesn't have an enemy battle line on it, and just go, I've got 2 models. What have you got? I've got 10 I don't know what snakes. I've got 10 snakes. They're not battle line.
Well, how many gun haulers can I stick in one army now? It used to be 14. How many can I put now?
155.
So
there's a 90-point chemist, and then it'd be 1910 divided by 155. Someone get me a calculator.
Okay.
Actually, I have a computer in front of me, which is a calculator. Although
1910.
So it is 12.3. So you can have 0.3 of a gun hauler.
12 gun haulers.
12 and like a gyrocopter. Okay.
Perfect.
But so this could,
we can test that list against my 14 units of Sky Wardens.
You run a gun hauler on your objective. He's just one. He fits. You shoot off the rest, or whatever the opponent has. You shoot off his battle line. Basically, this is a tactic for this. I think you need to remove battle line here, and then force control with your battle line.
Because we can't outnumber anyway, typically.
No, exactly. But now you can outnumber with a single gun holder in Urbaz. You just need to get him on, and because they have their 18-inch move, they can get on within 3 inches of opponents. But then you need to play Urbaz, so maybe not.
Ether Gold is meh now.
It's not worthless, but it's not as valuable as it used to be.
No.
It's not great. So, general feeling on this one. How do we feel?
Interesting trick series you can do with the battle line thing. Generally, keeping objectives is hard for KO.
You need to hold them for a long time to score big on them.
And that might be an issue. So maybe attack is the best defense in this case. Just, attack them first turn, you control them, and then just shoot and attack and keep the people off your objectives.
It is a mission with flanks, so
yeah,
you can just go everywhere.
But there's no real rear because 11 inches. It's not deep. The deployment isn't deep, so you're not popping up behind them.
You can drop in here or here and take go heavy here.
Yeah.
And then next.
Yeah, you need to take a flank, hit that one, hit the next flank, and play around with the. If I burn it, you're gonna move away from there. If I don't burn it, there's an incentive for you to go there. Well, then I can go to the other side and shoot your. I'll leave it for you for another turn. I'll take it away later, but in the meantime, I'm gonna move my army to the other side and shoot whatever's there. Yeah, will be an interesting one. This one.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly
on matchup, I think, because as someone mentioned in the chat, if there's large amounts of big horrors, could be poor.
Yeah, no.
Or your opponent is using nothing but giants. It is a Sons of Bahamut player where everything's battle line now.
He's just kicking everything into the middle and sitting on it.
And Leah in the chat says, defend one, burn the rest as soon as possible.
Ooh. But that means but then if your opponent stays on his objectives for too long.
If he outsits you with even 2.
Then, yeah.
No, it's a risky one.
This one is purely matchup dependent, I think.
Yep.
Okay, next one. The Veins of Ghur.
What
so
the heck is this?
This is
Star Strike.
Yes, basically. And they've meddled with it again. Basically. And they fixed the ongoing issue with it, which is that the objectives always used to end up in the middle. Or have before it was originally AOS 1, there was an equal chance of being on the flank, the middle, or the other flank. Then they changed it to this weird thing where it could go loads of different places, and it pretty much always end up in the middle. And now they've done it so it's more likely to go on a flank, if anything. Well, I mean, 7 it's even still. It's back to how it was.
I don't know why they didn't just do a D3. What's so hard about a D3? That was good. The D3 in first edition was good. Have Games Workshop never played Settlers of Catan? They should know the statistics of how these numbers work.
Yeah, because the most likely dice roll from
It's a 7.
2 dice is a 7.
Yeah.
So
I mean, still, it's not as bad as Star Strike used to be in 2018, where it was just anywhere. Now it's you can prepare for where it falls. KO don't mind because they can just teleport there. So favors KO. Randomness favors KO because they can adapt. Other armies will struggle to it's gone over there. Everyone, let's go over to the left side. And they take 2 turns to go over to the left side. And then next one, it falls down on the right side. Everyone go back to the right side. It's playing with Fire Slayers is moving 4 inches. This is a difficult one. What I also like about this one for KO, it still has the victory points equal to battle round. So battle round 4 and 5, when there's 2 or 3 models or 2 units left on the battlefield, your gun hauler is gonna get those 15 points for you.
Yeah, this is one where you wait. Don't go tempted when that first objective falls down, because it doesn't matter. Because it's
just
worth
send
2 points.
for wings and wait.
Yeah.
Get that 1 point. Who cares? The 1 point is irrelevant.
Yeah,
or what is it? 2 points. 2 points. You get 2 points for the first one.
5 victory points in round 5 for taking an objective. It's huge.
You get 2 points. Do you get any extra points for having more? No.
No, you don't get any extra for more.
Okay. No, sit back and wait.
Yeah, your maximum score per round is 7. 5, no, not 7, sorry. 15, 17 in round 5. You could score 17 points in 1 round.
Mm-hmm. And by round 5, you need to make sure your opponent does not have 3 units to score 3 objectives.
Yeah.
You've got the time, you can clean up who cares? The first 3 rounds, who cares where the things are, who has it? Doesn't matter.
This is one where I think battle tactics aren't that important.
They're not. Plus,
Unless your opponent's got loads of monsters, in which case it's going to kill the monsters.
plus, some of these will be very hard to fulfill. Some of these you can't. Like, pick 2 that are not in your deployment. Like, you cannot do that before round 3 and that kind of thing. So, stick with the round 2 or round 3. Do the 3 units that run. 1.
Well, even that, the 3 units that run. Where are you running them to? You can't do that turn 1. That's what most people like. Turn 1. Yeah, I'm going to run some units.
Yeah, sure. Of course you can. Of course you can.
Yeah,
you have like 2 ships and your general sitting in a corner.
Yeah.
They run. Everyone moves a millimeter. They run.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
You score 2 points. Thank you.
But
it's the easiest one to get.
You're not. It's not like there's an obvious place to run to. Like, oh, I'm going to run on.
No, you're not running. You're running, but you're not running to anywhere.
You're making a running move.
You're running on the spot, as you're doing in the gym.
Yeah, fair enough.
And because first round, where are you going? You're not going anywhere. You're not committing. You're not shooting. Okay, let's run. Let's run in the corner.
So that's good for KO. Maybe not so much for other armies.
Yeah, I don't care about other armies. This is not an other army show.
So this one good for KO, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Have maybe one of the most advantageous ones for KO so far.
And this one gets used in tournaments, at least from what I've seen, quite a bit.
Okay.
Star Strike is usually popular, at least in Australia. It's in pretty much every tournament pack.
That's interesting because over here, people did not like the random battle plans. The old Star Strike and the what was it called, where the thing moved like in serpentine lines.
No one liked that one. No one liked that one.
That was like people did not like random stuff because they said some armies can deal with it, others just cannot deal with it, and it was not fair.
Yeah.
With this, it's easier because it's like 3 positions. You need just to prepare for these 3 positions where it can come down. You can plan ahead. Yeah. I agree. This is I like to put this in battle packs.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Last one. Oh no, that was the last one.
Was the last
okay. So we talk about some lists. Cool.
We're gonna have an extra list segment.
Yes.
We have.
Cool.
I need this a little bit more because we just got word. The Australian National Championships happening next month were going to be in 2nd edition, have now been changed to 3rd edition.
Ooh.
I was preparing a 2nd edition army, and now 1 month in advance they're like, "Hey, guess what? 3rd edition, right?" Yeah. Oh God! What? Panic! Shit! Okay.
To be honest,
back on
KO. You will be thankful for that decision.
Yeah.
I'm telling you this about someone who's stuck for another 2 months playing AOS 2. And I do not enjoy it. And I will go to a tournament and already today, so many people were confusing rules. So I'm giving +1 save to this unit that you're shooting at. Like, no.
They know.
No, it doesn't work. And especially not in shooting. I'm sorry. Like, what? But the rules like, let me take out my book from like 2 years ago. Here it says, boom. It's just, it's hard. It will be bad. Unfortunately, AOS Worlds Championship plays Old Edition. It's been discussed long, and because it's a 3-month cutoff, next year will be 2 months. But Alex, you will appreciate it that they did it. I think a month is enough.
At least you can focus just on one thing. That's important.
You do it. You play it. You do some games, and everyone will have a great time playing it.
I was playing Daughters before for 3rd edition. I am now not playing Daughters anymore. We are back on the boats.
Yes.
I'm in a similar position because I got a tournament next weekend, and I didn't think I was going to be able to go because I thought my fiance's family were coming to visit from Portugal, but that is not happening. And now my fiance's going to Portugal, so I'm like, yeah, I can go to the tournament. I'm like, oh wait, shit, that means I need a list.
So people, sharpen your pencils.
Yes.
Take notes.
Me and Krohn both need lists of tournaments right now. I mean,
Disclaimer. These are lists from us. We have not extensively played AOS 3. We have played some games. We have conferred with the rules. We have ideas. Most of these are theory. If they do not work, we are not liable for anything. Take them, adapt them, tell us in the comments what you like to change, how it went. If you think it's stupid and you should do it differently, let us know.
And the other
some lists are based on rules to be decided. So
yes.
But the other thing is the meta is still emerging. So it's like, okay, well, these lists look sort of like they could work now, but like in a month's time, it could be like, oh well, the meta didn't really look like how we thought it would.
Exactly. There's Sylvan F everywhere. Trees everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
But disclaimer, Alarielle seems to be good in the new edition. She can heal 3d6 wounds every turn.
Yeah.
I need to be convinced about Alarielle, I think. But
3d6
wounds also
healing.
FAQs, I think still more FAQs to come as well.
Do we have a word when we'll have new FAQs?
Oh,
within a couple weeks.
I don't have to write that. It's not happening.
We can find you. Anyone who is near wherever you live, please.
Well, a friend of mine
lend an
does
Ironclad.
have an Ironclad. It's on the Games Workshop flight stand. That won't survive a tournament. Okay, let's look at a list. And Evelina says she will blame Aethercast for every one she rolls on her new Aethercast dice.
It's a trap. They roll so many ones.
As long as you...
The gold ones are bad. It was a lie. I tried using them. It didn't work.
You need to roll them
failed.
counterclockwise, not clockwise. You're doing it wrong down under. You need to do it the other way around.
It's all in the wrist action.
It's all the wrist action. Yeah, Lee's trained in the wrist
action. It's all in that wrist, huh?
It's all in the wrist action.
4 to 6. It's above average. There we go. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right. Yep. Let's look at a list. So, Max, this is one of yours. Barak Mhornar.
Can't be. I don't play Mhornar.
Yes,
pirates.
Okay,
thieves,
so first of all,
disgusting bunch.
Before we go through the list, let's talk about why you are looking at Mhornar now, potentially.
That is a fantastic grand strategy.
It is. It's a new one. It's in the additional premium edition.
Okay. For anyone...
None. I just get 3 points for not doing anything.
Only available...
Anyone listening in the future that can't see the screen, the grand strategy says none because Max is lazy. Because he didn't tell me what the grand strategy was.
I did not tell one because I am not sure. And I invite everyone to discuss with us today in the comments which would be a good one. Because I'm not sure which is a good one, to be honest. Okay, why Barak Mhornar? Because I believe Barak Mhornar has some tools that will help in the new emerging meta that seems to be the meta. The meta seems to be they call it gods, hero, monster, Archeon, Gotrek, Moraphis, maybe Alarielle, Kragnos, those people. They can heal, they can do monster things, they can do hero things, they can heal, they can have a great save, they're on a 3-up, so oftentimes they're on a 2-up, ignoring a rend. There's +1 saves all around, so you might not be able to kill those in 5 rounds. So why Mhornar? Because of the great artifact, which is the Gale Force staff, also known as the Fuck You staff, which just halves charge. So yeah, your Archeon is great, but if he needs to roll a 12 to make a 6-inch charge, he's not that great, is he? So that's the reason why. And another reason, because small boards or smaller deployment distances. Mhornar gives run and shoot in the first turn. You can actually get Arcanauts to shoot stuff and your people to shoot stuff. So what do we have? Heroes, we have a Navigator General, again, half move flying units. A lot of these monster heroes are on flying beasts, so you have their move, and then you have their charge. So yeah, bad days for them. He needs to take the Gelfor staff because he's a navigator. He's the only navigator. Then we have a chemist, because chemists, yeah, they're heroes. They're good. We have another hero, which is Gotrek, because for now, I know maybe these people will get bored of Gotrek. Everyone has Gotreks. Everyone will bring a Gotrek to a tournament, and Gotrek is not as good. But for now, 435 points, a little killing monster. He is extremely good. He gets more movement out of the redeploy. Anything moves within 9 inches of him, he's moving d6 forward. And he's ignoring all the damage down to 1. Even from abilities and spells, he has a free up feel no pain. He has 8 wounds. 4 up save. You can make him a 3 up save now, even better. And he can heal d3 if he wants. So it's hard to take him down. So yeah, he's there to do the melee and beat stick things on the objectives in the middle, and to get in it. Then battle line, we have 3 units of 10 Arcanauts because we need battle line. Then we have an Ironclad. Let me start with the Ironclad. The Ironclad is where the navigator will reside most of the game. The Ironclad has the Sky Cannon and the Last Word, because of now you can Last Word and Unleash Hell, both, even in the same charge phase. So that's a lot of shots.
Yeah.
1 with -1 to hit, 1 without. You then have 2 Gunhunters, just because points-wise, 2 Gunhunters fit the list. Gunhunters, I'm not sure if Sky Cannons, maybe Drill Cannons, and they just stay further back and shoot from afar. There's a source of mortal wounds, which is important in the new edition, I feel, with all these saves. And then we have 10 Thunderers, also in the Ironclad. I'm not sure on the weapons. For now, there's 1 Fumigator and the rest is rifles, because most of the time they will stay in the Ironclad. But they could drop down, and then maybe 1 Fumigator with the Chemist together. It's good for holding on objective, giving -1 to hit out. Thunderers, 10 Thunderers now with a gold, they can get to a 3-up. With a hero or their unit leader, they could even get to a 2-up, 3-up. So they're much more reliable than they used to. Well, you spend a command point on all-out attack, and you spend your gold on a triumph for +1 to wound.
That makes sense.
Yeah, please tell me if I'm wrong. I'm not too familiar with the rules, but I think that works. So now 10 Thunderers actually can do stuff. In the previous edition, my trouble with 10 Thunderers was just the output was not enough for me.
Yeah.
With rifles, so yeah, you can stick them in the Ironclad. Then we have the fun thing in Barak Mhornar, which is the opportunistic privateer trait on the navigator. So after you set up and everything is there, and you put the Ironclad in the front on one side, and there's the big Mock Russia opposite for it, you just pick up the Ironclad and put it somewhere else, anywhere out of 9. And you were not allowed to move. It says in the rules you're not allowed to make a move. However, in the new edition, running is not a move, and you can run and shoot in the first turn.
Yeah, because it's been FAQ to specify no normal moves and no retreats. I feel like they're missing something there, but I can't.
I'm not sure what it's gonna be. So that Ironclad is 9 inches away. It can run and it can shoot whoever you want.
So the only thing I've got is you said there was a redeploy. How does Gotrek get a redeploy?
No, not Gotrek. The Ironclad. Like first turn, with the ship where the navigator sits inside, you can set it up somewhere else again.
Okay.
That's the Mhornar command trait.
You said Gotrek was getting extra movement from a redeploy? Or no? No. Okay.
So there's a question from Timo.
Well, more of a correction, because he's right. This list is illegal.
What?
Is because Gotrek is not a leader.
I know.
So he can't be in the vanguard
Why? Is it just? I thought it's just troops. He can take a troop slot. Can you not?
Yes, but you need 3 leaders for it.
For the Vanguard? No, you mean the Warlord for the extra artifact. The Vanguard is the one where you run 6 inches without spending a command point.
Oh.
Because Gotrek needs to be fast.
I don't have it in front of me.
I have it.
So he's in there as a unit. Okay.
Yes. And the Chemist is the leader in there.
Yeah, the Chemist.
And then there's an Arcanaut company as well, because it can run.
Okay.
And stay with him to give him lookout, sir.
So he's not in there as a leader, he's in there as a troop.
No, I know he's not a leader. You told me last time he's not a leader. Let me quickly check. Okay, here we have it. Vanguard just needs troop. Unit that is not leader, artillery, or behemoth. He's none of those, so he can fill a troop slot. He's an ally, but that doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah.
So he's in the Vanguard.
Yeah, we thought Vanguard needed more than one leader. It doesn't.
No, it just needs one. Okay, one sub commander, which is the Chemist. Mm-hmm. And then because you
needed 2, one could be the Navigator anyway.
No, you can only put 1 in the Vanguard.
No, I was saying if it needed 2, you've still got another hero.
No, because I need that for the Battle Regiment.
Oh, that's in Battle Regiment. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and okay, so we need the redeploy thing only makes sense when you actually know if you're taking first turn or not. Because it would be stupid, like, I'm going to redeploy this, I don't get the choice who goes first. And then you lose your Ironclad. So, obviously I wanted low drops, so the Battle Regiment is the way to do it. We stick almost everything inside, except Gotrek, the Chemist, and the Arcanauts. And I thought, where can we put these? Let's put them in the Vanguard, because they get the, what's it called, Swift ability, which is once per battle, 1 unit from this battalion can receive at the double or forward to victory command without the order being issued and without a command point being spent. So basically, it's a free command point for that.
It's quite good with Mhornar as well.
Yeah, it's good with a Mhornar because they want to run and shoot. So either you put it on the Arcanauts, or you put it on Gotrek round 1, just run him up. Yeah. Have a guaranteed 10-inch movement, which is almost like into your opponent's deployment by now. And you have the Arcanauts next to him just to give him the -1 to hit from Lookout, sir. That's their job. And the other 10s, you either put them as screens, you put them, I don't know where you put them, who cares? They're just battle line. And so what you want to do is you probably deploy the 1-drop. You can put the Thunderers inside the Ironclad, the Navigator inside. You can put Gunhunters somewhere, wherever you want. So maybe that's even further back, and that's why maybe drill cannons are interesting. So because 36 inches now is just basically the whole board, and it's 2 shots for a source of. Yes, maybe. Then you deploy Gotrek, the Arcanauts, and then you can put the Chemist inside the ship if it's already there. So 4 drops could be enough, maybe not. You have some play with the redeploy of the ship. And what I like about this is you have your power in the Ironclad with the Thunderers, and it is rather safe, even from like small units that people send in to eat Unleash Hell, like Ether Wings. They charge them in, either you shoot them or you don't, and then I charge in my big unit. But now, for example, you could use the half charge on those Ether Wings, so they don't make their charge, and then still Unleash Hell on the big bruiser unit that's coming. Or even
if they still get in, you can still last word.
Exactly. Or you last word them, and then and kill them, and the other one comes in, and because these small pre-charge units, like I like to call them,
word them because you can only last word at the end of the charge phase. I think is when it is.
I think so.
Okay. I would need to double check that. Like, don't take me at my word.
Please check.
Anyone.
But it gives you flexibility to have these 2 options, and they half move for flying units, half charge for anything within 12. And Gotrek is just running rampant on his own with 10 Arcanauts to babysit. And the other units just do what they do. So you have these two tools, and I like the kiting and charging thing. Or you can keep Gotrek close to the Ironclad. Someone wants to charge it. It fails the charge, and he goes in and clears off, and the Ironclad goes somewhere else. So yeah, that's one idea for a list. 1990 points. I don't think you'll get too many triumphs with 1990 these days. It's 106 wounds, although Gotrek has much more effective wounds than that. And it's 4 drops. I'm not sure if 4 drops will give you secure choice. Probably not, because there's some armies that can do 1 drop.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of people that I'm seeing making this, competitive players going for battle regiment to get to low drops. So it does seem to be that drops is a very competitive choice.
Obviously, because I'm a competitive player and I'm doing it.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people doing it. What I mean is there's people looking at battle regiment plus 1 unit or battle regiment plus 2, or there's people looking at battle regiment plus the one that is warlord light, which is not called Vanguard as we learned.
Command, entourage,
which is a 4 drop list at that point.
Yeah, because it's just it's a lower drop version of doing it with warlord. So because they want the lower drops. So yeah, drops I think could be important, especially with certain types of lists. Yep. The thing with this list that I think you might find is the Thunderers might not be as good as you think.
Could be.
That 2 up, 3 up sounds great. You get it 1 turn. Because then you don't have your triumph anymore. So then it's 2 up, 4 up, which is not as good.
Rerolling ones.
Yeah.
And I found in one game that I played with KO in this edition, Rend 1 nowhere near as powerful as it used to be.
Yes,
Rend
that
1
is
no Rend anymore, basically.
That's true. So maybe cannons, Ether cannons are a way to go because they have 2 Rend.
And they would,
because I don't see Ether saws engine rigs. Nah, they're not happening for me. So that's another thing that has 2 Rend is the Ether cannons from Thunderers. And shooting something that charges you with 4 shots back because they get an extra attack when there's a unit within 3. Yeah, could do stuff.
Okay, so I have a question. Well, 2 things. First of all, confirmation from the chat that last word is the end of the charge phase.
Okay, thank you.
But still, having the last word is very useful. And then the other thing is, this is basically a 2 threat list. So you do agree with that? Okay. Is 2 threats the new 3 threats? Minus 2 rend is the new -1 rend, or
it might be because you will struggle to build in 3 threats points wise in the list now.
Yeah,
I think I'm afraid. So.
And I think with the lower objective count as well, most games being 3 or 4 objectives, do you need 3 threats anymore? Is the question.
I'm sure I can answer this now. Who knows?
Oh, well,
again in a half a year.
Because the other thing is, one of the things you might have to deal with is an Archeon or an Agas or an Alariel or a Gotrek, and therefore, if you're splitting your threats into 3, can they deal with that?
Yeah, Gotrek cannot. He can only be in one place at once. Yeah, so here Ever is but I think this list. The idea of this list was to deal with those big threats, like those gods, to have a melee punch to actually get and contest objectives with Gotrek, and to still be able to deal damage wherever you want. So you have the Ironclad with Thunderers and 2 gunholders that can go anywhere and shoot people. So yeah, I don't know. I'll have to try it out.
Okay, right. So I think we covered that list. Next list is yours again.
Yes.
I need to disappear for a second, so you just talk about your list, and I'm going to.
Oh yeah. So you're talking about converting me to this new religion you had with the Iron Breakers.
Yes.
Can they be battle line? Can they be your battle line?
So I'm not 100% sure because in Fring they are coalition units, and can coalition be battle line? I think not for your list. However, they still have the battle line role for things like objectives and so on, like scoring things. But they're for your list requirements. They do not.
Ah, okay.
I think that's
So
how it works. But please, in the chat, to confirm if I'm wrong. Confirm. Please tell me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Confirm I'm wrong. I hope I'm not wrong.
Because otherwise, you could have battle line just 3 units of 10 Ironbreakers, and that would be better than Arcanauts, right?
I mean, Ironbreakers cannot shoot, but yeah, no, you cannot
Neither
have
can
them. They
Arcanauts.
cannot fulfill battle line like the role. No, they cannot.
Okay.
But they have the battle line role in terms of scoring or doing what we talked about earlier with the contesting, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this list is a Barak Thryng, so all the dwarf goodness. It's 1985 points, so 5 points less. 115 wounds, so more wounds. Again, 4 drops because I always end up with the battle regiment and another couple of units. So this is 2 things. Hello, Lee. Again, we have 3 units of 10 Arcanauts as battle line, just because battle line and better than Ended Riggers or Sky ones. We have more heroes. Let's maybe explain this list a bit, like what are the sections. So we have an Ironclad because Ironclads. It has the Great Sky Cannon in this one because now in Barak Thryng, your coalition units, they cannot use the Exploding Sixes ability. So now the Ironclad's going to do it. Because an Ironclad with that 14 shots, we have the same profile, so carbines and Sky Cannon, Exploding Sixes on that. It's just good. You can make it hit on 2s and wound on 2s if you wanted. It will delete a unit.
Especially
unless
if
it's like 2+ safe. Maybe not, but it does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Like, because it's 2 damage each shot, so 6s are on 14 dice, you roll 1 or 2 6s, and then maybe even on your torpedoes. So that's another D3. So it can do stuff.
Especially with reroll 1s, it's not going to miss.
Reroll 1s from what?
Barak Thryng?
Yes, thank you. That's the other big thing. Barak Thryng, why Barak Thryng is more valuable now is you still have rerolls, which are very rare and very powerful. 3 units, rerolling 1s. Yes, thank you. That was the other thing I missed. Like, what was the other thing?
I am very interested in your new reroll 1s religion.
Yes, rerolling and rerolling 1s religion is the new. Who cares about plus hits and -2 hits and wounds and saves? Rerolling is the new meta. So if you have access to rerollings, like an Admiral, for example, that's great. So yeah, Ironclad, a lot of damage output from that. Then we have a contingent of honorary dwarfs, which is a Rune Smiter as an ally. Why is he an ally? He cannot be an ally.
He's not an ally.
He's not an ally. He cannot be. Like, he can be an ally. Points wise, he could be an ally, but he's not. He's a coalition unit. Him and 10 Hearthguard. Why Auric Hearthguard? Because monsters. 10 Auric Hearthguard. So they both can null deploy. They can go in reserve in the tunnels. They can come up 9 inches away. They have a 18-inch shot, Auric Hearthguards. The thing why they're good against monsters is against monsters they do damage 2. So 10 dudes, they have 21 shots at damage 2. And if you actually wound the monster you roll a d6 on a 4+, you half its move and give it -1 to hit until that unit's end of next turn, I think. That's how it worded. So that's great against monsters. If there's a monster, like I don't know, a monster, there's a couple of monsters running around now, you can just pop up and delete that monster. Because Oryx, okay, they hit on 4s, wound and freeze. Oh, I can do all out. What was it? Volley fire, all out attack, whatever it's called, +1.
Yeah.
Okay. Freeze and freeze. If you actually get your triumph, you could do freeze and 2s, 1 rend, 2 damage. There's a lot of damage. You can deal 12 damage to a monster. So that's fun. So it's like that. If you bring a monster out, I can severely damage it or I can delete it with that. If you think there's not many monsters or the monsters that are around are too tough, you could easily change this for then Hearthguard Berserkers 10 points. But then I'd advocate for the pole axes now because mortals, because you don't get the exploding 6s and stuff now anymore on the Hearthguard Berserkers with broad axes, because Coalition don't get that anymore in Thryng. They don't get the rerolls, so just stick with the pole axes. I think they're now statistically, I think they're better, even with the high saves, because that would be 21 attacks. Each 6 is 2 more. So that's that block. Then we have Arcanauts, Arcanaut, goes battle line. Heroes, we have the Ender Master with Endrin Harness, because he's a good hero. He can repair the boat, he can keep the boat alive, repair it. He gets a Grudge Hammer because he has a good melee attack, he has 3 attacks. So 6 is to hit, goes 3 mortals if you don't have any 6s to hit, and then you roll 6s to wound. That's D3 mortals in addition to his D3 damage. He can do stuff. As a general, we have the Ender Master with Dirigible, just because it could be either, but I think the Supremely Stubborn is better on him. And we have another artifact from the Warlords battalion, so he gets the Phosphorite Bombets because mortal wounds.
Nice.
He's great.
Yeah.
He wounds. You can run somewhere, still do it because it's not a shooting attack. It's just a thing. It's within sticks, so it might be a bit difficult to pull off. But yeah, great. Always fun. And then I was debating, the Prime. Usually I have the Prime this kind of list. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, so yeah, you're going to talk about the elephant in the room, the not dwarf?
So mine are dwarves, and I've seen many other people converting them to dwarves. So there is a movement going on. Hashtag real dwarves. Elani and Elephor. Basically, usually I had the Prime. He's another reserve deploy, so you have 4 drops and 3 of those would be in reserves. However, the thing with him is now the coming down, guaranteed charge. If he gets Unleashed Hell, he has 8 wounds and a 3+ save. Like, I saw that in our game lead, like he was stuck on a 1 wound. So he could die and then it's a waste of points. For now, what is he, 330, 340?
325, I think.
I don't know, something like that. It's a lot of points, I think. That could be wasted. So I chose for something similar, but a bit more point effective, is the 2 Elf Twins, Elani and Elephor, because they have some benefits. They are wizards. That's always good. They do not get the universal spell lore I learned, so no flaming weapons on them, sadly. But they are good and they get better later turns because they get more damage on his sword, so similar to the Prime. They give your general an extra command point on a 4+ if they're close to him, so that's a bonus in this edition. They have, with their spell, that gets off on a 6, but they get +1, so on a 5, they can give themselves a 5+ feel no pain. They have a 3+ save base, so that's great to make that a 2+. And they also have a small shooting attack for mortal wounds. And they have a weird teleport that we discussed already on this show when they first came out. That if they get damage and they get, I don't know what, hurt somehow, they just teleport somewhere out of 12, which could be useful, but also not. But getting them damaged it's hard. So if they put Mystic Shield on themselves and then the 5+ ward, they're running around on a 2+, 5++. It might be difficult to do. One there here again as a melee unit, but you could easily throw them out and throw one of the other 2 Aether Wings units out and put in a prime. So then you're set with the points. In this case, we have 2 units of Aether Wings because Aether Wings are just great, 45 points. 1 unit sticks with them, or even both. So -1 to hit for Lookout Sir. Aether Wings there to pre-charge if you want to charge them into something. Pre-charge if you chose the Hearthguard Berserkers instead of Oryx. Pre-charge in and protect them. All around useful. Another thing for the Runesmiter, he's a what's it called? A priest. So having a priest in this new edition is also helpful because they have a couple of new prayers. Usually people opt for the curse, but it's only a thank you. I was going to that. The curse, but curse is only 6 inches.
9, I think.
9, 6, I don't know. But if something's within 9 of my Runesmiter already, I'm not feeling good. So it's, if it would be 12, great. I pop out 9 inches away, I put it, like next turn I put it on them, and then I send in my my whatever it is. I think in this case the heal is better because it combines with the heal that the heroes have anyway, the heroic recovery. Again, also I forgot to mention Alania and Elafor, when they teleport away, they also heal D6. So they could heal D6 plus D3 if they're close to him, heal another D3. So it's a lot of healing that you could do. Runesmiter, I think he can also heal with the heals. You can heal an Ironclad, for example. He can heal, I don't know, a Gunhauler, which we also have in this list. Is an additional Gunhauler just because Gunhaulers are good. But I think the Ironclad is set. We have 2 Endrin Masters to heal it. You could go over top. Like if you need it, the Runesmiter could heal. But it's also, I think, 12 inches range, so it's not too far. You need maybe play ahead for that. The other thing I thought maybe might even be a better option for the Runesmiter is the one where he gets you another command point. What's it called? Contemplate, or is that the one? Something like that.
Cool. I had not been looking at the prayers in detail, to be honest. Talking about curse because everyone's talking about curse. Because, of course.
Guidance. Guidance is a prayer that has an answer value of 5. You get a command point on a 5+. So maybe debatable. Prayers, I'm not sure. I need to test. The problem with the prayers is he has a prayer on his war scroll, which is reroll all wound rolls. But now he can only do
strong.
1. Which is strong, but not for... Yeah, for Oryx, it might be stronger than for the Polax Hearthguards. So, yeah, he can only do 1, and there's a couple of good options. So, prayers it's sad that they can only do 1 instead of all the ones they had. I know. I mean, I converted my Prime. I converted my Alania. Yeah. Oh, this is something to try out. It's against monsters. It has re-rolling ones. It has great damage output from the Ironclad. Mortal wounds output. It has play with Aether Wings pre-charging, and it has that beat stick, and it has a wizard and a priest. It has everything. This list has everything. Yeah, that's my list.
So, if anyone listening in the future on the podcast, wondering what we're laughing at about a second ago, Asmund in the chats referring to Elana and Elafor saying you can cut their legs short and hide them with beards, but you'll never get rid of the stink of elves.
He knows what's going on.
He knows the truth. There was a question from the chat as well, Max, which is, have you considered Ian Draster instead of the Prime?
Yes, I have. But I don't think she's a good option because her ability is only good for Stormcast to like replenish the ranks. She's great against monsters, but not all monsters. Some monsters like having deducted by 10, like Magnus Squeak, for
Scarbrand.
example, or Scarb. Or is Scarbrand a monster? Not sure.
Yeah.
Is he? Maybe. So
All the greater demons are.
she's good. She has a 4+ ward instead of a 5.
So she has
I don't know.
damage comparable to the combat damage, at least comparable to the prime. She doesn't get the auto charge off, but she is cheaper.
She's much cheaper. She doesn't have the shot, I think.
No.
And yeah, with Elania, you just get the wizard thing. And the fun thing with wizards in this edition is you can do the metamorphosis spell, which they know because everyone knows that. From Ghur, where you can make a hero monster, so they can make themselves a monster and score you some battle tactics, which is also valuable. And they have a +1 dispel, unbind, and cast. So yeah, you can get rid of some endless spells, or you can get rid of or unbind a nasty spell. They have their 2 casters, so yeah, helpful.
They get a bonus to cast as well. So.
Yeah, they get +1. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so I mean, it is kind of difficult, I think, with the new edition to look past Thryng. Like there are non-Thryng lists, but there's a lot going for Thryng because of.
That's why I was struck. Gnar, yeah, Thunder's battle line, but no. Zon, no, since Skywarns are not worth it anymore, and why would you send in Archons to fight? Like, nah, I don't see it anymore without the pluses to charge. Urba, as we said before, what are you going to do with all the gold? So I think Mhornar has play with the shenanigans movement debuffs and run and shoot. And I think Thryng, because of rerolls and exploding 6s, can be very strong. And the option to get in other units from Dwarden, Battle Tomes, so cities and Fire Slayers. If you like, again, we talked about this Thryng. We did a whole show. You have access to a monster here that is not an ally, like a Rune Father on Magmadroth or a Priest on Magmadroth. You can access Iron Breakers. You can access Iron Drakes if you felt like it. You could access Rune Lords, which are great. They got +2 to dispelling. They have a good prayer. They can do the 6 up Feel No Pain, but on a 2+ on their own dispossessed units. There's stuff you can get in Thryng. It's not just Fire Slayers. I like the Fire Slayers because it's the reserve and deep strike ability.
Yeah,
you could do the same with a Rune Smiter and a Magmadroth. Just send him in through the tunnel and pop him out somewhere. You can do some mortals. I don't know how good he is now in Rune. He's more expensive now, but maybe he's okay with the right artifact.
Cool. Right, let's move on because we're an hour and a half or 3 lists to look at. So, Krohn, custom Skyport list.
Yeah, custom Skyport. Just for you, Lee.
Dark side.
Just for you. No, so I think this is my 3rd edition take on the clown car. The Krohn
purely
clown car.
to get spell in the bottle without having a battalion.
Yes, because there is no other way in any Skyport to get a chemist with a spell in a bottle.
Do you mean a chemsit?
Yes, a chemsit.
Yes. Oh. or you can get it in Urbaz, but then you can't take Last Word. And I like Last Word. And Urbaz doesn't give you much else anyway.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Custom
it gives
Skyport.
You the Breath of Morgrim.
Oh yeah, such a good artifact.
So just to
Custom
clarify, you have chosen not to take Urbaz because you think gold is rubbish. And then command trait on your chemist is a nose for gold, which gives him extra gold. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, look, I didn't. I made this list kind of late for me.
Yeah.
I didn't have the book on me. I just picked one of the chemist command traits. I'm not. Replace command trait with whatever you want.
Okay. Right,
I don't know. Give him
wasn't-
Grudge Bearer.
It
Give
wasn't
him Grudge Bearer. He'd love it
purely
like that.
for buffing, giving the Ironclad reroll ones 2 turns rather than 1 turn.
No.
Should be.
No.
Give him Grudge Bearer. Or you could
Yeah.
stick with that.
Yeah.
So I
The command trait is not
articles?
important in this list.
Not really.
No. Okay.
I'd go with your codes. I'd go with Settle the Grudges, which is the pick. It's like
Reroll ones.
what Thryng Light.
Yeah. Because one
Only
unit
works on
rather
one
than,
unit.
rather than 3.
Prosecute Walls with all haste. Just get that gun and shoot in turn 1, and no trading.
Mhornar Light. And
Mhornar Light, Thryng
yeah.
Light. So this list again, low drops because it wants to go. It wants to go first. This is the rules as to be decided because it's assuming things about Alpha Pack. And basically, you stick. It's pretty. It should be pretty obvious. There's 2 Ironclads, 2 squads of Thunderers, 3 squads of 10 Arkanauts just for the battle line. Chemist. Stick the Thunderers in the Ironclads. The Ironclads are in the Alpha Pack. Stick Chemist in one of them. Dump both forward. Warp Lightning Vortex. Get out. Shoot. End game.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not noted on screen, but the Arkanauts would be in the battle regiment. So it's 3 drops.
It's 3 drops.
Yeah.
So It'll go before anyone who's using a battle regiment and
Warlord.
Warlord or the other one, the
Command
Entourage.
Yep.
Problem a bit if your opponent has less drops than you, but that's what the run and shoot in turn 1 is for. So you can still hang back, have that 30-man Arcanaut screen in front of both of your Ironclads, and then in your turn 1, run forward and shoot with everything. You just don't get a Warp Lightning Vortex.
To clarify for maybe the viewers, you are assuming that the Alpha Beast Pack D6 pre-game move allows you to fly high.
Yes, this is assuming the Alpha Pack works in the broken way.
So it's debated because it says a D6 move. Is that also a normal move, or what is it?
It does say a normal move of D6, but
okay,
it needs to be FAQ'd.
Yep.
Okay. On the subject of FAQs, there is something else I need to bring up. So, Lane in the chat basically says that you can't deploy Thunderers in the Ironclad if they're in the same battalion, and this is something we talked about on our FAQ show. But we need to do a correction because actually the wording for battalions now is actually different in the way you deploy them. So it used to be when you deployed a battalion, you deployed all the units at the same time.
Yeah.
Now you deploy units in the battalion 1 at a time, but it's 1 drop. So you do all your units in battalion 1 at a time before your opponent gets to deploy a unit. So they can't deploy a unit until you've done one of yours. So because they're all 1 at a time, you can do the ship and then put units inside the ship afterwards. Because
can you just do Alpha Beast Pack first and then do the battle regiment?
Or
and
you could do that,
Like the Thunderers, you just put them in a boat instead of on the ground.
Yeah, you can as well. They're in a different battalion anyway in this example.
Because the Thunderers are not. But for battle regiment with 1 Ironclad and some Thunderers in it, you can.
I mean, that's how I would deploy this. You put the Ironclad down. You put the second Ironclad down. You put your battle regiment down, and the Thunderers go inside the boats.
But I wanted to bring that up to correct it anyway, because we said about it in the FAQ show that it needed an FAQ, and it actually really doesn't anymore.
Okay.
Because it
nice.
Works differently to how it did. So it's nice that actually, sometimes we moan about rules, and then we get ahead of ourselves and we moan about things that don't need moaning about. So it's nice to have, to be actually proven wrong on that. To actually have something. Actually, no, it's fine. So that's good.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not. Wait, what's the chance that someone's going to have a 1 or 2 drop list? I don't think it's going to be. I think you're going to find at least one in a 5-round tournament.
Minimum, yeah.
So is like you're going to take first turn, yeah?
If I can take first turn, I take first turn.
So how do you feel about that? Because I know in the past, one of the things you liked about being lower drops is to give away the turn, just control the turn order.
Yeah, but with this amount, with this amount of stuff, the plan would be to basically cripple the enemy before, to the point where they can't retaliate.
Yeah,
effectively.
Can I put it to you? You're not doing anything with this list you can't do in Zilfin, except for the run and shoot. And you could go second in Zilfin, because in Zilfin you could use buoyancy aid on one ironclad, hero phase, get those ships out, and then just fly high the second ironclad. The only thing you could put your thunderers in different places.
You wouldn't get spell in the bottle.
And you get the reroll ones against flying units.
Yeah, but you wouldn't get spell in the bottle is the question. So, yeah, that's a good point.
That's true.
Because you'd have to take the staff, and if you want to take anything else, you'd have to be more drops. But in Zilfin, this would be a 2-drop list.
You wouldn't even have enough points. To take it. You'd have to drop some thunderers.
The question here is...
If you did it in Zilfin...
Yeah.
You're 2 ironclads, 20 thunderers. Okay, so your 2,000 points is like, if you're willing, you'd need 2 heroes to get spend the bottle. You just don't have the points to do it in Zilfin.
So you could get the points by dropping the Warp Lightning Vortex, but wait, hang on.
My question here would be: is one chemist, like one hero, is that enough for the new edition?
It is if your opponent doesn't have any more models.
And that's the next thing. The Warp Lightning Vortex, it still works as it did, so it's good. It's a bit harder to deploy because everything needs to be 1 inch away. With the ability to, in the shooting phase, get +1 armor, I think you will destroy less with the shooting that you're used to.
Yeah. I think it's. This is the Clown Car Alpha Strike. I'm not sure if Alpha Strike works as well anymore, which is why I'm panicking about Masters, because I don't think this is going to work so well.
People. I mean, the damage output from Ironclad comes from 12 inches. Carbine.
If people screen you out. But these things will be 3 inches away from the front line, because they redeploy 9 inches away, then they move forward 10 inches.
Okay.
So there's no screening.
Yeah, and deployment zones are not as deep. So yeah, okay.
And they can run and shoot, so they can actually move forwards more than 10 inches.
So there's a chance of actually jumping over a screen if they roll high enough.
Yeah, but you can fit an ironclad base in between a screen and it.
Probably not.
Doubtly.
Probably not.
And 3 inches on each side. No.
Yeah. But you will be 3 inches away from their deployment line, which, and because their deployment is only 11 inches deep, you have carbines on whatever you want.
I think the output is great, but it will not. It'll still reduce the entire army.
It'll still kill an Archaon. Like, you get the drop on an Archaon without any buffs on him. 2 Ironclads, 20 Thunderers will still bring him down.
I mean, I'd like to hope so, because that's a lot of points.
I mean, he can get on a 2+ save.
2+ save, but that's all he's got.
You say that
and 20 wounds. And you're bringing 1 Ren.
Warp Lightning Vortex is kind of useless against him because of his magic ignore.
And then wound ignore. Yeah. And then each 6 that you shoot at him, you need to reroll. Yeah, we'll need to do the maths, but yeah, you could. But then
I mean, I always think of an Ironclad doing about 10 on average. So
6. It could be enough. Maybe not.
yeah, this is. I mean, how do you feel, Krohn, if you go first and you try and delete something you don't with this?
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Use that last word and unleash hell to just punish them even more.
That is the thing with Alpha Strike list now is before, if you took first turn and you flew high and you wanted to try and shoot stuff off the board, the trouble is in the next 2 turns you could get wiped out. But it could be now in the next 2 turns your opponent tries to charge you and gets shot.
Yeah. I mean, with all Alpha Strike lists, I think that you need to. The most important thing is target priority, and you need to be very familiar with your opponent's lists, with their army book, what makes what work, so you can use your damage output at maximum efficiency to just scalpel cut their list exactly where it needs to be to make it all come apart.
See,
it's only going to work if you know what they're doing.
I think with this list, if you use your Thunderers essentially as screens for your 2 Ironclads, so that they can't charge your Ironclads, so they have to charge the Thunderers, and they charge the Thunderers to get shot by the Ironclads, then I think this can do well.
Even get shot by the Thunderers with +1 shot.
Yeah, Thunderers are great on Unleash Hell. And so these ones want to be on the ground, obviously, max special weapons. So there's a decent amount of Ren 2 in this list as well. You got the Chemist, you got the Cannons, you got the big cannons.
Yeah. The reason why you need the screen is because they could just charge 8 for wings or some other cheap chaff unit into your Thunderers.
Yeah.
And so by having the Ironclad behind, it's like, well, that can wait and do something more, shoot at something more meaningful with Unleash Hell.
It's I know Alpha Strike isn't everyone's play style. It's what I'm used to.
That's what you do.
So I think this is the best way to Alpha Strike with KO at the moment. I can't think of a better way to Alpha Strike right now with KO.
Okay.
It's just the double Ironclad investment is.
Yeah, I mean, if you already own 2 Ironclads, great.
Yeah, if you already own 2 Ironclads, what's going on in your life? I want to know.
Okay. Question from the chat: would Alpha Beast Pack work with the Zon Hero Phase Disembark to launch an Arcana troop mid-boardish? In theory, yes. Good.
Yes.
Because
the move happens before the game. So
the move happens before Hero Phase, yeah.
Disembark in your Hero Phase, they can still move, and then they can charge. But then you just threw away 20 Arcanauts, so I'm not sure.
The other thing is, if you're doing Zon, you don't need to actually use that Hero Phase Disembark because you would just get out of the movement phase. Unless you wanted to get them out and then move them in the movement phase.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want to get them out and move them in the movement phase.
Yeah, but depending on how Alpha Beast Pack works, you would be getting out 3 inches away potentially anyway.
Yeah.
Where you move them to.
Yeah.
Because they can't fly, and they're movement 4. So, but yeah, I mean, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, you probably don't need to in the current battle plans. Because they're all
probably not.
Actually,
because you can run Arcanauts onto those objectives really quickly, really easily.
Okay.
Yeah. Pending FAQ, this is Clown Car.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to something, or 2 things. If you're worried about FAQs or TO rulings, where's my mouse? There it is. Okay. So I've got a couple of Zilfin lists that I'm looking at because, I don't want to worry about, okay, how will they rule Alpha Beast Pack? I don't want to take this to a tournament and then be ruled against. We know Zilfin works. I'm fairly sure. I mean, there's actually question marks on Zilfin these days.
I mean, there is a discussion, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, are your riggers going to work in this list?
Well, okay, they don't need to, but not in this list anyway. But yeah, you can definitely. We're almost certain you can fly high in the hero phase. I can't think of an argument against it really, except for your opponent really doesn't want you to, and therefore we know when people are really incentivized to argue against something, they will. They will find any argument they can. So, but this is relatively FAQ proof, I think. So it's Zilfin, 1,975 points. So I think that's good for Triumph bid.
Should be.
5 drops, which is not great, but I think Zilfin you don't need to worry about the drops because you're doing it hero phase rather than pre-game. So you can, just be at your opponent's mercy. They're at this point where they're like, okay, well, if I make you go first, you're going to fly high and do some stuff to me. Or if I go first, then, I'm not going to get you because you're in the corner. So 2 chemists. One is the general collector and spell in the bottle. One has got staff optimization. You can swap them around. It doesn't really matter because you also have the warlord battalion, so you get an extra artifact as well, which comes on the navigator for flare pistol. Why flare pistol? Because reroll hits is really good in this edition. You shoot with stuff
rerolling
with,
all hits. Yeah.
Yes. And then we also have a Celestant Prime, who's an ally in the battle regiment. So you've got 2 battalions, 20 Arcanauts, 10 Arcanauts, and 10 Arcanauts. Just, filling out space. A gun hauler with the Spar torpedo, because in Zilfin, of course, you get an extra engine work, which you don't get from battalions anymore unless you use your use your warlord enhancement from it. 6 engine riggers with swords and pistols, an ironclad with the buoyancy aid, and a warp lightning vortex. So the idea behind this is you fly in your hero phase, put down the warp lightning vortex, shoot with a massive bunch of stuff, and then let your opponent, with what they have left, try and charge you and unleash hell. So your 20 Arcanauts, the reason you have those in this list are to fly high with the ship and get out and make a nice, decent-sized screen around your ironclad and your engine riggers and your gun hauler. So your ironclad will have its normal place 3+ save plus a 6+, 5+, 5+. Yeah,
6+ ward.
6+.
6+.
So you've got a ward save there as well, and you need the gun hauler to move the engine riggers in case the FAQ, how that works
Stops
with flying high. So you're not trying to move your maximum capacity there. You've got a way of moving the engine riggers if you need to. You need something to give the ironclad a hill. There's no engine masters in this list, so they're there for that. So you're going to shoot with 20 Arcanauts that are rerolling hits. With the new battle plans, it's quite easy to get them out and have them 9 inches from an objective. Probably on your opponent's objective as well. So they'll be on +1 to hit rerolling hits, which is quite good. 20 of them, it's not going to kill Archeon with that shooting, but you've got shooting from other stuff as well. You've got a second threat with Celestant Prime, and it's just this thing. You basically build a castle in your opponent's territory in front of their line where they're like, okay, well, if I charge those 20 Arcanauts, I'm going to get shot by an ironclad. They get shot by the ironclad. Anything you don't shoot that charges the Arcanauts, you then, in your opponent's turn, you spend a command point on your engine riggers. They pile in on 2+2+, -2 rend, D3 damage.
I think the -2 rend is actually bringing back engine riggers for me. Just it's -1 rend is so wet paper like at the moment. It's so nothing.
And because you're using your Endriggers now in a more defensive role compared to what you did in AOS 2, Warp Lightning Vortex doesn't matter. You're not, charging into your own Warp Lightning Vortex. You're just sitting behind it.
Who would do that?
Yeah. So Endriggers actually feel to me like now how they should do, because they want to stay around the ship, and because they can use a command point themselves in the enemy combat phase, and then just go in and be 2+2+ in your opponent's turn. If they're behind the screen, it's quite good.
Little change I would make: split the 6 Endriggers into 2 squads of 3.
Yeah, you could do. I mean, the reason I have them as 1/6 is so that I can make use of a command point.
Yeah, but if they're 2 squads of 3, they can ignore. They can all attack, and they won't break their own unit cohesion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And same drops.
And yeah, the Celestant Prime is your second threat, because you're going to build a castle in your opponent's territory, and then they're going to focus on that castle, which you will probably put on a flank. And then, turn 2 or 3, you'll bring your Celestant Prime down where they're weak and use his -3 range. I
really need to try just doing. You've always really liked your castles. I need to try that. Just putting an Ironclad, 20 Arkanauts outside. I've never put Arkanauts in an Ironclad before, and I've got to try that. Just going. No, you see this territory over on your side of the board? This is mine now. Look at my screens. Look at my layered screens with an Ironclad.
That's what Iron Sky Attack Squad used to do.
Yeah.
Run forward, deploy. Here's my wall with frigates behind.
You might be able to get away with 10 Arkanauts, and then you have the last word. I'm not sure.
The thing is, you can't string them out that much anymore.
No, exactly. That's why I go with 20, because you don't want stuff sneaking around and then tying up your Ironclad. You don't want like a little unit. I keep saying Aether Wings, but because that's like the obvious thing, but it could be something else that can fly, and then they tag the Ironclad in within 3 inches, and then it, can't shoot at the main thing. You don't want that.
Like rend, ignore, eels.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you guys think with this list?
I think it is very true that the flare pistol has gone up in value, because it's one of the very few sources I can think of where you can reroll everything, and everyone gets it. Everyone in your army.
Zilfin Clown Car as defensive is interesting. I don't think I don't think this is going to work as an alpha strike.
No,
it doesn't. It doesn't have enough shooting. 20 Arkanauts won't do that much. They'll do a bit, but you're not going to kill an Archaon with this.
No, you'll struggle to kill anything with this, with the Arkanauts, and I have my doubts that the 20 Arkanauts will, that screen will stay about for long.
Yeah, it's purely there for one turn, in theory, which is 200 points. This is probably in the wrong order, because I actually made this list second, so I probably should have done the other one first. But this was like a more melee take of another list. Because the other one basically didn't have any melee output. I was like, okay, well, how do I put some melee output in it? And it's like, well, you end up being like, well, okay, I can't afford the Thunderers, and so I put Arkanauts in. And
I like how in Kharadron Overlords, one melee unit turns it into a melee Kharadron Overlord list.
There's a Celestant Prime as well, so it's like, okay, it's got that.
Yeah,
that's what the other thing is. So, okay, so. The other version, then, if we talk about them, is 2 different variations of the 7 is 1950 points, which is even better for Triumph. Maybe not optimal points expenditure. This is only 1 battalion, which is Warlord, so it's high drop.
It says 3 drops.
Yes, that's wrong. It's whatever. I couldn't be able to count them because it's however many it is. 1, 2, 3, 4,
10.
10. There we go.
This looks
that's how many
very
it is.
similar to the old, the second edition clown car.
Yeah, because this is a full-on shooty one. So you've got a chemist, collector, spanner bottle, navigator, a flare pistol, and an engine master with dirigible suit with the staff of ocular optimization. 3 units of 10 Arcanauts, gun hauler with spar torpedo, and then 2 units of 10 thunderers in the same sort of loadout that Krohn had a minute ago with the mixed weapons, 1 mortar because mortars suck, and the buoyancy aid so you can transport them all, and the warp lightning vortex. So you fly high, put the warp lightning vortex down, put out 2 units of 10 thunderers and an ironclad behind it. Anything that wants to charge those thunderers, they either get shot by the thunderers, or if they charge the thunderers with chaff, you wait and you can shoot the ironclad later. So it's the same idea. It's like, well, I'm going to put something down that you've got to deal with, but if you try and deal with it, you're going to get shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this one has just less melee output because it doesn't have those unit of endermingers to, go do something. It has the engine master, and actually shooting with staff optimization. It's very decent.
Oh, he does a lot of work with his 2+. I usually, so you have to pick one weapon. I usually put it on the dirigible suit weapons battery with the 6 shots.
It's the best one. Yeah.
And also him now with being a 3+ save hero that can get to 2+ very easily.
Oh yeah.
Or 2+ with ignoring Rend 1 if he needs to. He's a lot more survivable than he used to be.
I mean, yeah. It's basically it's my old it's the old clown car with gun hauler instead of the 2 units of thunderers, which honestly might be is probably better in this edition.
Because they can shoot when they get charged. So
although yeah, you can't take 2 squads anymore. Yeah. No, and it'll put down enough firepower to her. In that first
with
turn.
the flare pistol, I mean, what the difference between this and your list earlier is you lost an ironclad, but the 20 thunderers and the remaining ironclad are all rerolling hits in a turn. As anything else.
What I would do with this list is forego the triumph bid. Is it that good? Okay, we have gold. We can buy it and put in Aether Wings.
Okay, Aether Wings. Yeah, fair
because Aether Wings, they're just good. You can screen them. You can get objectives with them. They're cheap. Who cares? They're fast. They just,
And you already don't care about drops, so might as well. 10 drops, 11 drops. No one cares.
Disclaimer on both these lists are both built around what I have, which is why neither of them have Gotrek. Or have access to, so I don't have a Celestant Prime, but I can borrow one.
But you can use your Boogman as Gotrek.
Yeah, potentially. But I didn't want to build. I had a feeling there'd be Gotrek based already, so I thought I'd do something about Gotrek.
Yeah, Gotrek is. I know everyone is talking about Gotrek, and he is good. But he's Gotrek. How can you not like Gotrek? He survived the end of a world.
I need to finish my Gotrek.
I mean,
I just need those base.
Yeah, the only reason I don't own Gotrek is because Warhammer World was sold out when I wanted to get it, and then other places have been sold out since, and it's just it was never a big priority getting him. And then
no, he was too expensive. Yeah.
All of a sudden, the rules changed. It's like, oh, okay, now it's a priority.
Now he just became good. I wouldn't be surprised if in the winter he goes back up to like 500 plus points, and then everyone just drops him again.
Yeah, probably.
Could be.
Okay, so out of these two lists, would you go shooty or melee?
Shooty.
Shooty.
Okay.
because the melee list doesn't have
Melee.
enough punch to scare your opponent. While this one, I think, does.
Yeah. I think the trouble with this one is all your eggs in one basket potentially. The gun hole and the dirigible and remarks can go off somewhere else, but
that's Zilfin. Zilfin is put all your eggs into one ironclad shaped basket. Present to opponent.
It is definitely.
I do not 100% agree, but yeah, you can do that. And that was also the thing with the 20 Thunder deploy and destroy build. It's always the same. You're projecting power in one point.
Yeah, and the thing is, I wrote this one first. The idea behind this one was this could probably actually shoot Gotrek off if it wanted to.
Yeah,
I think
it has in second edition
with the flare pistol, with all those Thunderers out of the boat with their +1s to hit.
Because
with the Triumph, so one of, like, say, both units of Thunderers on +1 to wound as well, or a unit of Thunderers and an Ironclad on +1 to wound.
Yeah, you'd have to try math it out. Yeah.
Because you have a lot of damage. We have a lot of damage 1 shooting, which is good against Gotrek. But yeah, it's you gotta in this list with all these kind of lists. You need to act as a scalpel. You need to know what your opponent's list is, what his plan is, and then work around that to cut out just the very specific parts to make his list come apart.
Yeah, and sometimes that means knowing not what to shoot at.
Yeah.
So if you can't kill something, don't try and kill it. Just
now that Gotrek is only is less than a quarter of your opponent's army, and it's going to take your whole army to kill him. So I think and
if you don't, he's coming for you.
Yeah.
The play might be to just ignore him and kill everything around him.
Yeah. Go somewhere else.
Yep.
Okay. So, 2 hours in, so we probably want to run into the show. How confident are you both feeling with the sort of list we've looked at and stuff?
I'm panicking.
You're panicking. Max doesn't care because he's playing AOS too.
Yeah, who cares about this stupid? No, I like my Mhornar list. It's a theory list. I think I like to try it out and see if it actually works. Maybe it's just the whole kiting thing actually doesn't really work. On the Thryng list, yes, I'm thinking about how to get flare pistol into that, or either of the lists. Because flare pistol, you're correct. Flare pistol is just so good now.
If anyone doesn't need flare pistol, it's Thryng, because Thryng has flare pistol light by itself
on 3 units, and then I want a 4th one that I would need. Like, I want to get rid of.
You don't need to kill 4 units.
It's
only ever 3 units.
You need to kill all the units.
Look, we were talking earlier. There might only be 2 units that you'd kill.
Might only be 2 units.
Well, but then put it in the Mhornar list. I'd like to look at it.
I mean,
maybe lose the chemist. How much more is a navigator than a chemist?
5 points. 5 points.
Ooh, I think
and double navigator means you can quarter move a flying model. So it plays into your kiting thing.
Yes, but then how do I get this second artifact? I need a warlord. I can't
Which
get
is more get rid of your vanguard, turn it into warlord.
I need 3 heroes for a warlord.
Yeah.
You need 3 heroes for either of those.
You need 4. You need 4 heroes in total. 1 for battle regiment, 1 for.
Gotrek isn't one, so I need Gotrek plus 4 leaders, and I have like 2. Yeah, it's a conundrum.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay.
Easier in the Thryng list. I have heroes in
there. I mean, that's the other thing about these Zilfin lists is I know how to play Zilfin. Like, I'm not reinventing the wheel or doing anything like this is these are perfect things for just like, okay, you can take next week without a huge amount of practice. You can just go and they play the same way they used to play, pretty much. So that's a plus point, I think, in many ways. So yeah, I guess we're feeling tentatively confident for KO at the moment.
Yes.
Oh,
The only
for
thing
KO
we
as a
lack
whole-
is the melee and the anvil. So, but we have options here.
Okay.
for
do you know
KO
what I
as a
think
whole, yes.
is what I think is good? We've looked at several lists here, and they're not all the same. There's different Skyports. There's a custom Skyport as well, and we're saying, we're not saying, okay, one of these is obviously the list, and then these other ones are, okay, if you want to be cute and be special.
Look,
No,
I can
we're
bring
not-
out my 14 units of Sky Wardens list. We can go there.
Okay, that will be the cute and special list, as opposed to the list. So, which is a good thing. Like for the health of the faction, it's good to not have, like the one list to rule them all.
Discussion is healthy.
Yes. So yeah, options is always good.
Try it,
Okay.
play it, try it, do it, report back to me. Tell me.
So I think we can draw an end to this week's show here.
Yes.
Next week, maybe there is. I don't know. I have a tournament. I'll be back in time in theory.
I will be out of town for my AOS Worlds list testing team preparation the whole weekend playing AOS 2. Yay! Because we need to submit lists 2 days later. So
Actually,
I will not be around.
I have a tournament next Sunday as well. Little one day.
Okay, so maybe there probably won't be a show next weekend then.
Maybe, very probably.
Yes, probably. Okay.
Unless
So
it's
we'll
like a Matt solo thing.
It's Matt.
It's just Matt sitting by himself, talking to you about trees.
Yes.
Maybe Kyle will show up.
Yeah, Carl and Matt on the road. Okay, so yeah, maybe not a show next week, but thank you everyone for watching this week. Thank you, Max and Krohn, for joining me for this week's show. If people did like the show, please do hit like. Please subscribe for more KO and Age of Sigmar content in the future. And yeah, comment below on what you think on these lists. If, what list are you looking at? That sort of thing. If we made any big mistakes, whatever. Hopefully we didn't. But yeah, until the next time, thank you very much for watching Skyfarers. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.